We're going to begin with some massive news in American soccer that broke late last week. The USL is planning to launch a first division league in 2027. Right now, we have the USL Championship, which is Division 2, and then USL League 1, which is Division 3. The only top flight league is MLS, but that looks like it could change come 2027. They have to obtain first division sanctioning from US Soccer. The requirements are you have to have at least 12 teams. They each have to play in stadiums with at least 15,000 capacity, and 75% of the teams have to be in markets with a population of at least 1 million people. Paul McDonough, who seems to be the head of this enterprise, he claims that so far U.S. Soccer has been supportive of the idea, but they have to get their ducks in a row and prove the viability of it. He said it would be a spring to fall calendar, and he did not say there would be promotion relegation, but everybody's assuming there would be between the three USL leagues I mentioned to contrast with MLS. What say you?
I'm glad we're starting the show off with this because I think that this is big news. And I think it's big, bold, arrogant in the most positive way, and audacious type of thinking. And it just plays right into everything that I've said now for a number of years relative to 2026 coming. If not now, when? I love that USL has decided to do this precisely because it is big and bold and arrogant. To your point, I hope that they qualify for the Division I sanctioning and the professional league standards that we've talked about for a long time. And I've often said that if they are restrictive or punitive in nature, that's a problem, okay? Because the United States Soccer Federation, which has these standards and therefore applies the sanctioning, their U.S. Soccer's mandate, last time I checked, is to spread the gospel of soccer and do things that are good for soccer. Now, I'm not talking about things that are protecting players and protecting security, but again, you mentioned the requirement of the stadium size. Well, last I checked, over in the EPL right now, there's a stadium for, what's one of the smaller teams or whatever? I have to look it up. It's like 15,000 or something like that. Why does stadium size matter? Why does market size matter? Now, amenities and making sure that players are safe, making sure that ownership has net worth, I think that's important. You don't want fly-by-night types of entities or individuals and owners that are in charge, because then men and women on and off the field lose their job. So I think, like I said, I hope that they get the Division I sanctioning from U.S. Soccer, because the reality is, Mosse, that the more soccer, the better. And there is plenty of room for other leagues. Competition that is going to ensue on and off the field is a good thing. It's good in business, and this is a business. I think this is a good thing. This also helps show that there is nothing stopping anyone from trying to build a better mousetrap, something that I've said forever. And, as it relates to pro-rel, we'll see if that's part of the component. If it is, great. If it isn't, fine. But also, going back to the sanctioning, let's be honest. I don't think that people are going to watch soccer relative to what the league sanction is, if it's Division I, Division II. It also should be noted that in the past, we have had multiple division sanctions of two leagues having Division II, having Division I. Right now, when it comes to the women's game, we have two Division I leagues. So the more the merrier. I think that this is great news. And finally, I'll say this, Mosse. This also highlights and almost forces MLS to do big, bold things. And if that's ultimately all that comes out of this, I'm good with that. So this is good stuff, like I said.
Well, I mentioned the spring to fall calendar. Everybody is writing that would mean they'd be competing head-on with MLS, but there are reports that MLS is looking into shifting to the European calendar after the 26 World Cup, so they might not be competing head-to-head in terms of the schedule. But let me just play devil's advocate. You say it's a good thing, and I understand the reasons why, but you also have said that American soccer eats its own. And instead of having everybody working towards one American soccer league being the best in the world, are you worried about a watering down effect where all the best players, coaches, execs, soccer minds in this country might be split between two different leagues?
Yeah, so a brain drain type of thing, or at least like you said, a spreading out. No, I'm not worried about that. And specifically, it comes down to the size and the geography of our country. And I've said this before. Why would I ever want to stand in the way of insert whatever market it is being involved in soccer? MLS, even going into its 30th year with its 30th team about to come online in San Diego, still can't cover the masses, still can't cover the talent that exists, and still can't give everybody out there from a local perspective or even a regional perspective a team of their own. So I think because of the size of our country and because of the soccer culture that exists, some that is evident and some that just is there to be mined or discovered, yeah, I think the more leagues that we have, the better. Now, when it comes to the promotion relegation element of this, as you mentioned, they didn't necessarily have this as part of it. It may or may not be going forward, but I will reiterate, nothing is stopping anybody from implementing promotion relegation within a league or within an agreed upon group of leagues. Now, I know out there for many people, especially for the zealots out there, that's not authentic and traditional when it comes to the promotion relegation. But if it really is this silver bullet, then the market will decide. The customer out there will decide and say, this is so much better than anything we've had before.
The thing I would say about that is you need that Division I league to be really successful and really prestigious, because for promotion relegation to succeed, you need that ultimate carrot on the stick and to it really feel like a big deal for a smaller club to get to that highest level. The issue right now is MLS is so much bigger than any other soccer league in the United States. And as long as it's walled off from everybody else and not part of promotion relegation, you feel like, well, you're not really getting to the highest level if you get promoted all the way to the first division. But maybe this USL league will be successful enough where it will feel that.
Yeah, but why can't, if it is so wrong what MLS is doing, why wouldn't this be looked at as a good thing in that it has the potential to isolate MLS and literally make it go extinct in terms of what they do. A couple other things. When it comes, it should be also noted that the professional league standards have nothing to do with the quality of play on the field in terms of assessing if this league is going to be good. There's not a word about how good the soccer is on the field. I know that is subjective. And while I mentioned that I don't think fans particularly care or think about what the sanctioning is of a league, players care, especially players coming outside, and the market for soccer is global. So players care that they are coming to a first division, if you will. Coaches, I think that they ultimately care. And for an emerging business like USL that wants to engage in the global market, I think that will matter. And I hope that U.S. Soccer, and I don't think that this would happen, will not stand in the way and, again, be punitive or make it restrictive for USL to be sanctioned Division I. And then let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's see if you can coexist, because we have seen in the past, Mosse, businesses that have come along and built a better mousetrap. Some of them existed before, like, for example, a Netflix. They fundamentally changed the industry and changed the way they did business and reap the benefits. Someone like Nike came along when Adidas existed, and not only did they change the industry, but they were able to coexist. Someone like Amazon completely came along and destroyed the industry and sits basically alone right now. I don't know ultimately if this is ever going to happen from a USL perspective, but I'm here for it in that I want to see it happen, and I don't think it's as problematic as people make it out to be.
I do recommend everybody should watch the 30 for 30 on the USFL, which in the 80s tried to compete with the NFL. They signed Herschel Walker and Steve Young, among others. Donald Trump owned the team.
Mm-hmm.
I found that to be a very entertaining 30 for 30. And more recently, we had the XFL, which was covered in that Vince McMahon documentary. We have the UFL, which we televise here on Fox. So at least with football, there have been some competing leagues. And for old school baseball fans will know that before Major League Baseball expanded out west, you had the Pacific Coast League, which is where Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio started their careers. And then eventually Major League Baseball expanded out west and absorbed it. It's now become part of the minor league system. So yeah, you do have these stories across American sports history of rival leagues.
And who knows, when all is said and done, it may follow some of the history when it comes to sports in that MLS may acquire USL. They may say, hey, you are doing some good things, and we actually recognize the quality of your business, and we want to fold it in. And it goes back to your point about we eat our own and the soccer wars with a Z that continue on. And some of that is bad, as I've talked about, but not all of it is bad. And again, competition is good, both on and off the field. And if this lights a fire under MLS to do big, bold things, especially relative to 2026, that is a good thing. It's a good thing for those involved, but it's a good thing overall for soccer.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.